'tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh, and today we talk about Spy Fox, the last of the big Humongous Entertainment adventure series, and we will start off today with our adventures in dry cereal. So, without further ado, roll the intro.
Got milk? Not anymore. Everything is going just as I planned. Soon the entire world will be without dairy milk. No butter on toast, no ice cream, no cheddar cheese, and nothing but dry cereal. Nothing can stop me now.
So, the very first Spy Fox game is one of my all-time favorites in the Humongous Entertainment franchise. I love the character of Spy Fox. I love it more now than I probably did as an adult. Whoops, as an adult, I'm an adult now. As a kid, I mean, there are plenty of jokes now that I get that I would not have gotten as a kid. There's plenty of references now. For instance, look at Spy Fox as a character. He is clearly an inspiration of the famous James Bond character. Even how he introduced himself, Fox. Spy Fox. As a kid, I even asked my parents, why is he saying his name that way? Is his name legitimately Fox Spy Fox? Is that his full name? Or what? And so my parents had explained to me, it's like, well, as you get older, sometimes people introduce themselves in different ways. So when I grow up, I might introduce myself as Marinara, Dan Marinara, instead of just first and last name. So it's interesting to me. Obviously, it's a play on Bond, James Bond, very famous catchphrase, but I wouldn't have got that as a kid. Monkey Penny is, of course, Money Penny. Quack is just Q. There's plethora of other references. There's the captain of the ship that you go on later in the game is clearly just James Tiberius Kirk from Star Trek. So another completely out there reference that's very famous, mind you, that I would just have not got as a kid, that I get now.
But rather, whether you're worthy of the sea, I see.
And I remember realizing that I think I was blown away. I was like, this game is incredible. The writing team on the Humongous Entertainment, those guys are incredible. What they're able to produce here, what they're able to create such a fun adventure for kids that was filled with jokes that I didn't get, but I still enjoyed the game. So the game as a whole, of course, is classic point-and-click adventure game. This game, though, is a decent bit harder than other past adventures we've gone on. It includes different mechanics, such as being able to just pick through a plethora of different spy gadgets that you will need to figure out when to use them in the future, as opposed to other ones where you just pick up things along your journey. You do that in this game as well, so it just adds an extra layer to that. Of course, all the spy gadgets won't be used in every playthrough, and now's a good time to mention this. In every Humongous Entertainment, not everyone, but most of the Humongous Entertainment franchise, there are split pathways. So when you replay the game, it'll be a little bit different than how you played it before. This is one of the very first times where there's a huge gap in what can be done. So there are basically two major splits in the game, and the big one happens about right after you're done the intro section. It's either the boat, which I mentioned, the James Tiberius character, or the car, which you deal with Walter Wireless, who is this little flea. I guess he's a flea, the fly, something. He's a little bug who I'm sure is a reference to somebody specifically. And you interact with one of those two characters and you go on different paths. This footage is from the boat path. So if you're seeing footage that includes a boat and a milky section in the ocean, I have to talk about the story before I get too much further. So the main plot is you're a spy. You're taking down big villains, and you'll see that through the rest of the journeys with Spy Fox. So we're taking down William the Kid, of course, Billy the Kid, get it, and he is set to destroy the dairy industry. And it's a weird little meta commentary on the time, the whole Got Milk ad, was everywhere at the time. There's even like Got Milk references throughout this, like one spoken word.
Has anyone got milk?
Like some like billboards, like it's very directly like tied in with that. And then William the Kid wants goat milk to be the main product, not dairy milk. So he wants to blame the dairy cows for flooding people with like rotten milk. Convoluted, silly cartoon plot, but it gets where we need to get going. There's also characters like Russian Blue, who is this character. Sometimes you interact with her more depending on what playthrough it is. There's a conductor, there's B Bear, there's a jazz pianist, there's a sailor on the ship, and there is the big, not be big bad, but if you play this game, you know, Mr. Big Pig. Now let me tell you what, Mr. Big Pig is required to play if you're on Boat Path. It's one of the reasons why Boat Path is harder. But Mr. Big Pig is a Go Fish player. He's a Go Fish savant. He's the greatest Go Fish player in the world. And let me tell you what, when you can say like these games are easy, like yeah, Go Fish is a pretty simple game. Don't mistake simple with easy though. When you gotta play to win a trinket that belongs to James T. Kirk. I don't think that's his exact name, but James T. Kirk of the SS Winter Prize, I think that's what it's called, the boat in this game, to continue the game, and Mr. Big Pig has the trinket because he won it, because he's the greatest Go Fish player in the world, and you gotta play Go Fish. Let me tell you what, this section took me no less than an hour to play Go Fish with Mr. Big Pig to win that trinket back. Oh my god. Was I raging? Was I so mad? And it's like, it's just, I don't understand how this pig is so good. Anyone who's played this game knows the fear of Mr. Big Pig. If you won first time, you got lucky. If you won the fifth time, you got lucky. Like, it's a game's chance with this guy. Obviously, there's a bit of a strategy to it. When do you ask for things? What to ask for? Like this, that, whatever. You can say you're great, but until you beat Mr. Big Pig, consistently, mind you, because we all can do it, right? Then you're not the greatest Go Fish player in the world. Other than Mr. Big Pig, though, what makes Boat Path so much harder than Car Path? Car Path has one very specific thing you have to do with Walter Wireless that's like a little bit tough. Boat Path has to do with figuring out like what coordinates we go to find William the Kid's secret fortress. And once you're in the fortress, it's pretty straightforward. There's another split path that includes either Cock-a-doodle Foo or some alligators. Alligators was my favorite path because it includes this food called chicken knuckles, which I guess they're both kind of tied together in the chicken kung fu thing. But chicken knuckles is one of those foods that, you know, as a kid you see a fake food and you really want to try it. So like chicken knuckles, I don't know what it would taste like. I assume it's just fried chicken, probably a little bit tougher. And there was this thing called beet sauce and secret sauce. And I've always wanted to try this food. It looks greasy, it looks gross, it looks like a one-time try, but I want to try it. I want to see if it's any good, but that's neither here nor there. So Kid's Secret Fortress, there's, you know, you solve a couple things, you infiltrate the fortress. It's a very spy-like activity. You blow the door off the place to get in here. There's a lot of cool things going on, and there are some puzzles that even I, who repeatedly I've said I played these games over and over and over again as a kid. I much preferred Car Path as a kid because I could do it. I remember taking time and time again to solve the Boat Path because of how tough it was. And even now, there were a couple puzzles, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't remember exactly how to do them. I was pretty happy that I figured out how to do them. One of the cool new mechanics on top of having these gadgets that you can interact with in different ways are these talk bubbles, and you can go around collecting clues, you know, like a detective would, to figure out what to do, kind of where to go. Because without those, there are things you just cannot solve. You have to use these, and it's another cool little mechanic where, obviously, if you know the solutions to a lot of them, you can skip over it. A lot of it, but even still, there's some talk bubbles you have to use on certain characters to get the info you need to move on. And it's a cool way to kind of move you in the right direction, even if you generally know what you're doing, or if you have no idea what you're doing. It's a really, really cool mechanic, and I really like that part of the Spy Fox franchise. But that's the rough overturn of it. The ending of the game, is another really cool part where, as a kid, I didn't know about it for a few number of playthroughs. There is a missable final ending. There's a two endings to this game. There's a good ending and then there's an okay ending. I guess you could say a bad ending if you want. But no matter what you do, you save the dairy cows. Spoilers. I guess. Billy, he prefers William, but I'll call him Billy. He gets away, or you can capture him, and you have this quick time event where you have to click on like a truck in the last second and like jump up to his flying blimp, and then you do one last little puzzle. It's not hard at all, but like getting to this part of the kid felt monumental. It felt like I unlocked a new section of this game that I loved, and that's, Spy Fox is incredible for stuff like that. It's a plethora of secrets, and if you have not played any of these games, you're watching these through as I'm putting them out, or just watching the franchise in the future, this series I'm making. Franchise is a big word for what I'm doing here. This series as I'm making them, and you're like, these games seem childish, like they look great, but I don't know. Give Spy Fox a try. I legitimately think there are parts of this game that will stump you, that will cause you to like look around, and it'll let you enjoy what there is to offer, because they are designed to be a little bit tougher. If the age rating is to say anything, I put arbitrary like rankings on how difficult these are. I say Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, and then this one, Spy Fox. Spy Fox is the only one to legitimately have a higher age rating in what it's recommended to play, because it is that much tougher. It was the tough one as a kid. It's the one I had to ask the most help for as a kid. They were not easy games for little Dan. So I legitimately recommend this to anybody who's even has an inkling of an idea that they might enjoy a point-and-click adventure game, quote-unquote, for kids. It is for kids, but you know what I'm saying. This game is amazing. It's one of my all-time favorites. I don't remember, honestly, if I like this one more than the following ones. I'll be happy to see as we go throughout. I was so stoked to play this game. Also, timeline-wise, it's the biggest that I played on this series so far. Took me like 2.5 hours to play through this game. Like I said, that's with knowing most of the stuff, how to do it. So if you don't know, this game could take you a little bit. I mean, say that, an hour of that was Mr. Big Pig, but that aside, this game is pretty big. This game is very enjoyable, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it to anybody. And final note with Spy Fox. Quotes like crazy, because of course he's James Bond. One of his sayings, a couple of sayings I've noticed while playing through these games, I say all the time in their like swimwear. I really stole that from Spy Fox. Unabashedly. I don't say it a lot because there's not a lot of situations I can use it in. Every chance I get, I use it. That being said, I love this game. I'm so happy, and it's been a little bit of a break since I put out another one of these, but I'm happy to be back doing more Humongous games because I love them so much.
I've got my cookie. Has anyone got milk?
Thank you so very much for watching. What are your experiences with Spy Fox? What of the big four, now that we've covered at least one game from the big four, are your favorites? Let me know. That'll about do it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.